Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Community Information Meeting for the Oro Vista Avenue Green Infrastructure Corridor Project. We thank you for being here this evening. My name is Joyce Amaro. I am the Public Education Manager for LA Sanitation and Environment's Watershed Protection Program, and I am your host for this evening. We have a Spanish interpreter, Vladimir Campos, here this evening. However, we deeply apologize, but due to technical difficulties with Zoom, we are unable to provide Armenian interpretation this evening. However, we will be translating the presentation into both Spanish and Armenian, and we'll email that to attendees.
Tengan todos ustedes una muy feliz noches y sean bienvenidos a esta reunión de información a la comunidad en relación al proyecto del corredor de infraestructura verde de Oro Vista Avenue. Les agradecemos por conectarse. Mi nombre es Joyce Amaro y soy la directora de Educación Pública para la Agencia de Saneamiento y del Medio Ambiente, Programa de Protección de Cuencas, y seré orgullosamente su anfitriona por esta noche. Tendremos intérpretes en español al señor Vladimir Campos y permítanos disculparnos porque debido a dificultades técnicas con la plataforma de Zoom, no nos será posible el poder proveer interpretación en el idioma armenio. Sin embargo, estaremos traduciendo la presentación a español y al armenio y será enviada a través de correo electrónico a cada uno de ustedes.
Բարի երեկո եւ շնորհակալություն, որ մասնակցում եք այսօրվա Oro Vista պողոտայի կանաչ ենթակառույցի միջանցքին նվիրված հանդիպմանը։ Իմ անունը Ջոյս Ամարո է, ես Լոս Անջելեսի սանիտարական մաքրման եւ միջավայրի բյուրոյի ջրբաժանի պաշտպանության ծրագրի հասարակական հարցերի պատասխանատուն եմ եւ այսօրվա հանդիպման հանդիսավարը։ Մենք նախորոք նախատեսել էինք, որ այսօրվա հանդիպումը միաժամանակ պետք է թարգմանվեր իսպաներենով եւ հայերենով, բայց հայերենի թարգմանության հարցում Zoom-ի հետ կապված տեխնիկական դժվարություններ ունեցանք։ Բայց ուզում ենք ձեզ վստահեցնել, որ հանդիպման ավարտից հետո եւ իսպաներենի եւ հայերենի թարգմանությունները կտրամադրենք բոլոր ցանկացողներին էլեկտրոնային փոստով։ Շնորհակալություն։
Thank you. Before we begin our meeting, we need to get everyone into the appropriate language channel. If you need translation services in Spanish, please click on the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen and select Spanish. If you do select Spanish, it's very important to also select turn off original audio.
Muchas gracias. Antes que comencemos nuestra reunión, necesitamos que cada uno de ustedes se sintonice en su canal del lenguaje correspondiente. Si usted necesita servicio de traducción, por favor haga un clic en el Interpretation button, en el botón de interpretación, el cual se encuentra en la parte baja de su pantalla, y por favor seleccione español. Si usted selecciona español, es sumamente importante que por favor seleccione además desconectar el audio original. Insisto, por favor, desconectar audio original, seleccionarlo. De lo contrario, escuchará la traducción en inglés y en español al mismo tiempo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Next slide, please. I have a few brief housekeeping items to address. Since we are translating tonight's meeting, you may notice a brief pause between slides while our presenter waits for our translator to finish. We are recording tonight's presentation, and we will place this presentation on LA Sanitation and Environment's YouTube channel, and we'll email a copy of the presentation to tonight's attendees. We will have a question and answer segment at the end of the presentation. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask questions. Your questions will be answered after the presentation has concluded. Next slide, please. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our panelists for this evening. The Honorable Los Angeles City Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez from the 7th Council District is with us this evening. Eve Sinclair, Area Director for Council District 7, is also here this evening. Tracy Minamidi, Chief Operating Officer with LA Sanitation and Environment, is also here this evening. And Lorena Matos, Landscape Architect with LA Sanitation and Environment's Watershed Protection Program, will be presenting this evening. It is now my honor to introduce Tracy Minamidi, Chief Operating Officer with LA Sanitation and Environment. Tracy.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Well, hello, everybody. It's so good to see you, or somewhat see you here tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this community meeting for Oro Vista Green Infrastructure Corridor. It's so exciting to be doing another project for our stormwater program in Council District 7 with Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez. We're so excited. This is a project that was awarded in round 1 of the Measure W Safe Clean Water program. So it's one of the first projects at the gate, and we're so excited about that. A lot of competition, a lot of discussion, and this is one project that rose to the top. Lorena is going to be talking a lot with you about some of the ideas that we have. Roughly, this is a $10 million project, so it's a significant project. And really, it's going to do a lot in terms of helping with flooding in the area, in terms of greening, adding more trees, capturing that water, and really beautifying the neighborhood. I've had the privilege of participating in a few ribbon cuttings with Councilwoman Rodriguez in Council District 7, and it's just so rewarding to see that we're making progress and see that these projects are making such a contribution to beautification of the neighborhoods. And at the same time, as I was saying, making improvements in terms of flooding issues during rain and capturing that water so we don't lose it. We all see that there's a lot of climate change going on and potential for droughts. So the more that we can do to capture that water, the better we will be. It's helping us with compliance and improving water quality in other areas. So that's also definitely a big benefit. So I'm excited about the project. I know that all the staff in LA Sanitation and Environment are looking forward to working with you folks on seeing this through. And so it's great to kind of be here at this kickoff. So with that said, I would like to introduce the Honorable Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Tracy. Thank you, Joyce and Lorena. Tracy, I really, thank you for recognizing. I'm so excited about how big of a deal this project is and how we landed it as part of the first round of Measure W projects. That's a really special honor and designation to have with this project, because as you know, and I want to thank all the team at the Bureau of Sanitation for being such great partners. This district is one that has not seen a great deal of investment for decades. And so when I took office back in 2017, there were really no projects that were already in the queue for ribbon cuttings. We had to literally start lining up new projects to get dollars invested into this area because it had not had that for a great many years. And so I want to thank our Bureau of Sanitation for being such incredible partners to identify areas where we can marry both the form and function of what we need to invest in neighborhoods like Sunland, like Pacoima, like Sylmar, as we have done. And I'm really proud of our partnership and collaboration with you and my team, and our former general manager, Enrique Zaldivar, who was also just an incredible partner to help see these visions through. And Oro Vista is a very special and important project, and I want to thank our community for being part of this meeting this evening, because it didn't happen overnight. In fact, as we started doing our homework and our history on this location, complaints about the flooding, about the lack of sidewalks, about the condition of the road, those issues about and complaints on flooding have dated back to 1984 is what we tracked some of the original complaints. And so I want to thank the voters for their support of Measure W, because without that, we wouldn't be in this moment today to talk about some of the really transformative infrastructure improvements that we're going to be delivering here as a part of this project. And as Tracy mentioned, what these projects are doing and why it's qualified and eligible for Measure W is that it installs very important water capture infrastructure. And you have to remember, guys, you know, we import water here in Los Angeles at tremendous costs, and ratepayers know that. They pay that every month. But we need to do more as a result of climate change, as a result of needing to be more environmentally conscious, that we have to recapture, filter, and reduce the flooding efforts. But you know, we have to do so in a way that builds the infrastructure to do that successfully. And this project is going to do all of that. You know, it was just a few years ago that I was participating in, you know, safe route to school and walking young students to school near Sunland Elementary School. And I was talking to the parents, and we knew about the need to create sidewalks, because many children and families don't have sidewalks in that area. This project, in addition to delivering on all the water quality and water capture improvements that will be installed, will be finally delivering those much needed sidewalks in that area. And they're also going to be providing additional beautification elements to it as well. So it's going to have a number of really wonderful parts to it. And I know they're going to go over that with you this evening. But again, I want to even go back to the constituent that reached out to me back in 2017 when I first took office, talking about this project, because this is among many projects that I'm really proud to say that I've delivered, and you know, and doing so in great collaboration with our city departments, because they understood the need for us to start really making some significant investments and bringing equitable service to the Northeast San Fernando Valley. So I want to thank them for honoring and hearing my calls to making sure that we could deliver more in a short amount of time. And so $10.9 million right out the gate for this first round is a pretty substantial investment. I'm really proud of that. And I want to thank Eve on my team, who's also Eve and many of my planning staff, Paula Basignana, everyone working in concert with one another for us to line this effort up. It's one of many, many projects that I'm really proud that we're celebrating the kickoff for tonight. And as Tracy mentioned, we've been doing a lot of ribbon cuttings because there's been a lot of great investments that we've made in lining up some new projects in the area. We just completed a similar project in Pacoima. So rather than continue to talk about it, I want you guys to engage in this process, because while I like kickoffs, I prefer ribbon cuttings. I want to make sure that we get this project delivered as quickly as possible. So I want to thank you all for your participation tonight. And again, Joyce, thank you so much. And Lorena for your work in facilitating this evening's conversation. So thank you to all of you for participating tonight.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rodriguez. As a reminder, everyone, before we begin the presentation, if you need translation services in Spanish, please click the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen and select Spanish. You will also need to turn off the original audio. At this time, it's my honor to introduce Lorena Matos with LA Sanitation and Environment's Watershed Protection Program.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Lorena Matos, and I'm the project engineer for the Oro Vista Avenue Green Infrastructure Corridor. For the purpose of this meeting, I will be referring to as the project. Tonight's presentation, we will cover a brief overview of the Los Angeles County Safe Clean Water Program, an overview of the project, including features, benefits, cost, and schedule, getting the community input and support, and the next steps that LA Sanitation is taking to start this project. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to share with the community the current project status, hear from you what makes the project important to the community, and answer your questions at the end of this presentation. Please ask your questions via the Q&A feature on Zoom. A little bit of the background of this project, the history and background. The project is important because portions of the South California rely on extracting groundwater, and recharging the aquifers is an important way to reduce dependency on imported water. What is the Safe Clean Water Program? As you know, Measure W, it was approved by LA County voters in November 6, 2018. This multi-benefit measure provides cities in the LA County with funds to capture, treat, and recycle stormwater. The goal of the measure is to provide municipalities with the LA County with the necessary funds to implement projects which could capture stormwater. The county program provides local, regional, dedicated funding to increase water supply, improve water quality, and provide community enhancements. Municipalities have been in great need to help to push stormwater capture projects forward. The project will provide green infrastructure to improve water quality, while at the same time providing other benefits, including the improvement of open space and biodiversity and school greening. The project will tie together new permeable sidewalks and bioswales to the green infrastructure network to the neighborhoods. This project, the overview, a little bit of overview on this project. This project will assist with improving water quality and increase local water supply, removing pollutants affecting local water bodies by capturing, treating, and infiltrating stormwater runoff, modernizing stormwater infrastructure, and providing pedestrians and vehicular safety with construction of over 12,000 square feet of permeable sidewalks. The project is located along Oro Vista Avenue from Hill Rose Street to Wingate Street, including a portion of Foothill Boulevard. Let's talk a little bit about the design overview of the project. The project aims to remove 100% of trash and 89.5% of zinc from the stormwater runoff from about 226 acre areas of land. To capture and infiltrate up to 21 acres of water, which is equivalent to 7 million gallons of stormwater annually in normal wet season. To handle this stormwater volume, the project will build approximately 1,300 feet of new stormwater drain pipes, 13 new catch basins, and 22 new dry wells. Dry wells are a type of infiltration BMP designed to store and infiltrate stormwater runoff. Installation of dry wells, swales, pervious concrete, sidewalks, and planters allow for stormwater infiltration, reducing runoff and accumulation during storms. Installation of dry wells could also provide groundwater recharge. The swales and trees provide community benefits to the street beautification, adding more foliage and largely asphalt and concrete areas on Oro Vista Avenue. The project will have approximately 4,300 square feet of swales and 33 new trees, helping to reduce heat island effects and improve air quality. But what are the benefits to the community? The community will receive benefits from the implementation of the green infrastructure corridor. The area will be greener and have more beautiful outdoor spaces, which will contribute to overall improvements of the area. The future implement will also help reduce flooding in the area. Furthermore, the project will become part of the regional network of features founded at Measure W, which seek to modernize the water system infrastructure using a combination of nature, science, and new technology, help protect public health, ensuring safer, greener, healthier, and more livable spaces, prepare our region for effects of changing climate. The project would allow for stormwater capture and infiltration, along with the street beautification. The Oro Vista project will have a variety of greening elements, such as infiltration planters with native plants and vegetation, and pervious concrete sidewalks to provide a multi-benefit project that will provide water quality improvements throughout the capture of stormwater, while providing flood mitigation and community enhancements to the greening of the project area. I would like to remind the community that the graphics that you're seeing here today are just conceptual, that we will be reaching out to the community and the stakeholders during the first phase of the design to get your input and better develop the project. The project is currently in the planning phase. The design phase should start within the next 2 to 4 months. It will take approximately 12 months from the start to finish. After the design phase, the permitting phase should take about 6 months. Once the permitting phase is over, the construction is expected to last 18 months to be completed. During the optimization phase, the team will monitor the project and make minor adjustments based on their observation. The cost for this project, the total cost for this project is about 10.6 million, with 7.4 being direct construction cost and 3.1 for project delivery. Thank you for attending the meeting. Now we will open for questions.
Thank you, Lorena.
Thank you, Joyce.
Like Lorena said, now we'll open it up to questions and answers about the project. If you have a question, please click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Type your question into the pop-up box and submit your question. And we will have one of our panelists answer the question, or write the answer in the Q&A feature. If you should have any questions that come up after this meeting, you are welcome to submit your questions or comments to us via email at san.safecleanwater@lacity.org. And we ask that you please place Oro Vista Avenue Project in the subject line. So we have a few questions that have come up. The first question is Sunland Tahunga considered a disadvantaged community?
The project's area is considered a disadvantaged community.
The second question that we have is, during the construction phase, how will residents and the Sunland Neighborhood Church have access to their properties?
This is a really good question. During the design and development of the plans for this project, we will be meeting with the community and getting their input. A traffic plan will be developed and followed by the contractor. And we will be in direct communication with the council district to let them know every week what's going to be happening so they can convey the information to the community.
The next question is, how far east will the improvements extend on Foothill?
Let me go back to one of the slides. This is the area that we will be doing the scope of work that goes from between Hill Rose Street to Wingate Street, including a portion of Foothill Boulevard. The red line that you see on the map, it's basically the area of the project.
Thank you. The next question is, those sidewalks look a lot wider than the current non-street area would provide. Are you taking property from the homeowners for this or making the street less wide?
The graphics that we're showing over here are just conceptual graphics. We'll be meeting with the community during the design process to delineate the right-of-way where the sidewalks will be implemented.
And then the next comment is similar to what you just went over, Lorena. She wanted to know if it would be possible to review the length of the project area, but I believe you went over that already.
Yes, let me put it back on the slide that we were. The project would go from Hill Rose Street to Wingate Street, including a portion of Foothill Boulevard.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Joyce.
The next question is, I assume the design phase is complete. When again will actual on the ground work begin?
The design phase is not complete. The information that you see here is conceptual. The graphics that we are showing to you guys, it's conceptual ideas. The design should start within 2 to 4 months from now. And that's when we're going to meet with the community to get your input, to know what do you want, how do you want the project to proceed.
Thank you. The next question is, will the 33 new trees be placed on Oro Vista and Foothill or only on Oro Vista?
Right now, the 33 new trees are distributed. During the design phase, the community will have the chance to option where the location of the trees might be. That's a chance that we have during the design to receive some comments from the stakeholders and see where they would like to place those trees.
The next question is, are there any pedestrian improvements, for example, bulb outs, that are proposed in this project?
Traffic improvements are not, as bulb outs are not as of today. Right now, the pedestrian improvements that we have on our conceptual design are the permeable sidewalks. If something that could be taken into consideration during the design phase, if that would be the choice of the community, and taking consideration that we would be able to do that.
Thank you. The next question is about water retention on private property. Councilwoman Rodriguez or Eve, I don't know if you would like to address this with the rain barrel program that I know you have done in your district. The question is any money to add water retention on private property along Oro Vista available?
Hi, everyone. Yes, we definitely do periodic rain barrel giveaways. So I'm happy to add you to our list. We usually do reach out, when we're anticipating one of those. So we can certainly do that. And then I also wanted to mention too, in regards to the previous question about pedestrian improvements, we are also working on some traffic safety. Many of you may have heard that Foothill between Sherman Grove and Apperson has been chosen as a priority corridor for improvements. And one of the planned improvements will actually be a left turn phasing signal added at Oro Vista and Foothill. So we are also working with our DOT department, and we actually have connected the DOT as well with Lorena. And so we will be, collaborating a little bit more on how to help improve that area. This is really kind of a comprehensive transformation of the street. And so we'll be working, together to minimize construction impacts and also to really be as sensible as we can about how to design this very well to cover all these aspects. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Eve. The next question is a comment and a question. I live on Oro Vista and am very glad that there is a process for decreasing the flooding that has been so destructive to my property. I would like to know more specifics as to how you will decrease the flow of water down the street and the plan for sidewalks and trees without impacting my property.
Okay, this is a great question. Let's go back to this slide over here and refer to the dry wells. This system is going to be located below ground. The surface you will see it's a bioswale, and below ground you see this system where the water, the water that flows on the street would have a chance to enter the inlet, go to the dry well system and be infiltrated, or go to the dry well system and be sent to the sewer. So this is one of the systems that will be used, that can be used on this project to decrease the flow of water running down to the lowest point of the street.
Thank you for that. The next question is, how might the project impact access to Sunland Elementary School?
During the project design, we will be developing a traffic plan that will be used by the contractor to have specific dates where they're going to be controlling the traffic to in and out. That's going to be something that will be developed during the design phase, and that we'll be happy to share in advance with the community.
Thank you. The next question is, do we know how many community meetings are anticipated?
We are anticipating at this moment 2 community meetings. One at the beginning when the team has been formed and we start the design. We'll be meeting with the community to gather their input, information, what would like to be seen on the project. And we will return again to the community with more information and showing how your ideas were implemented into the design as much as possible.
Thank you. The next question is anything planned for the area north of this project? The street on Oro Vista. I'm sorry, I just lost that question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Sidewalks are much more needed from Hill Rose to the Wash, especially for school children, than from Foothill to Hill Rose. Are there any plans for sidewalks behind Hill Rose? Thinking this might be more a question for the council office.
Hi, it's Eve again. And sorry, I think I cut that question off for you because I was typing an answer in.
Oh,
So potholes and resurfacing would be handled separately outside of the scope of the Safe Clean Water funding. Marjorie, I can open a case with you and we can include that in our future resurfacing plans. So this project is really designed around the Safe Clean Water funding. And so these improvements are being added along that stretch, but the funding itself is not to fund like road resurfacing, but I can definitely help you, achieve that solution through different means.
thank you, Eve.
And the same for sidewalks as well.
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you. The next question is it certain that this project will be completed and within what time frame? And is more funding required for the project?
The project is scheduled to be completed in the next 4 years. We should start designing between 2 to 4 months. Once we start designing, the project should take, the design phase should take about 12 months. Permitting another 6 months, construction 18 months. And we foresee the construction phase to take about 18 months. The direct cost for the construction of this project is 7.4, and we are looking to keep that number as solid. We are trying to build to that direct construction cost.
Thank you. The next question is really more of a comment. The participant says, thank you, wonderful project. So thank you for your support and your well wishes on that. The next question is, in the graphics, it appears there are bike lanes noted. Is that the intention?
As of today, there are no intention for, there is no scope of work for bike lanes at this location. The graphics are conceptual. Oh, you're talking about this one. The graphics conceptual. I believe that the lane itself, it's a bike lane, but it's not a specific bike lane where they have a structure separate just for bikes. There is a communal cars and bikes being used at the same time.
Yeah, and I'll hop in here too and let you know, those aren't actually bike lanes. Those are called sharrows, arrows that just remind people that bikes also use the road. So it's more of a cautionary just warning. Oro Vista is a big entrance to the Angeles Forest, which is where a lot of people go to go cycling. So it's that sharrows are just a kind of a reminder. It's sort of like warning horses ahead next 3 miles or wildlife or something similar. So it's not actually a bike lane set aside.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. The next question is more of a comment. Also regarding trees and plants, be prepared to know that the community will expect all native plants?
That's something that we have in the plants, and native and California friendly plants will be considered for this, but native will be the majority of the plants.
The next question is, will you please show the map again before the end? So maybe go over the map once more, Lorena.
The location map?
I believe so, yes. That's the only map that I remember.
Yes, the project will go between Hill Rose Street to Wintergate on Oro Vista and a portion of Foothill Boulevard.
Okay, thank you. You already
you.
addressed this. The question is, will all the plants be California natives? And I believe you addressed that
Yes.
already. The next question is, Oro Vista is the corridor fire trucks use for frequent fires in Angeles Crest. Will the street be open for them during all construction?
That's going to be considered during the traffic plan, that all that information, enter and exit of the residence, enter and exit of the business, everything will be addressed during the design phase and on the traffic plan for this project.
The next question has to do with the timing of the project. Participant is asking, is year one 2020? So if you could clarify when year one is in your calendar, Lorena.
Year one, it starts on the third quarter of this year, so 21, 22.
So 2021 is year one, correct?
Yes, we go from our years, they go from July to June, so 2021, it's our first year.
Thank you. The next question is there any possibility of getting a similar project on Hill Rose between Mount Gleason and TCB? I apologize, I don't know what that acronym stands for, in Tahunga?
It's Tahunga Canyon Boulevard.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will give you an update. We do actually have a similar project that is pending for Tahunga Canyon Boulevard and Commerce. The councilman got $3 million in funding to introduce a similar green streets corridor. It's not funded through Measure W, it's funded through the city's budget, but that will be coming as well. We don't currently have anything planned for Hill Rose, but we can always look into that, you know, for a future project.
Thank you. The next question is, we are facing a severe drought. Wouldn't it make more sense to capture water before it goes to the ocean? Lorena, maybe just highlight the amount of water that this project will be capturing.
Yes, this project is scheduled to capture up to 21.5 acre-foot of water, which is equivalent to 7 million gallons. And yes, because of the drought, we'll be using some of that water, as you can see of the dry well schematic over here, that we'll be using on our bioswales.
And just to clarify, Lorena,
Yes.
the amount of water that is being captured on an annual basis in a normal wet season, correct?
Correct. That is correct. It's up to that portion, up to that number. It depends of how much rain we receive.
And that water would be infiltrated into the groundwater, correct?
There are different systems we could apply. The first system is the water being used by the plants. If we have more water, that could be infiltrated into the soil to replenish the aquifer. And depending on if we have extremely amounts of water, that could be diverted to the sewer to be sent to Hyperion for to be sent to to be recycled water and then reused again.
Thank you. The next question is more of a comment. This is so great. Thanks for all your hard work and for including us in the discussion. I look forward to hearing more. So thank you for that. The next question is regarding the dry wells. What is their capacity and how is the capacity determined?
The dry wells, they depend on the capacity because you can have a single dry well with just one chamber, or you can have a double dry well. And the capacity, it's determined by the volume of water that the design is, the project is designed to. We do have the design to consider the 85th percentile, which is about 1.1 inch of rain.
Thank you. The next two questions are similar, so I'll put them together. It says, will you be engaging the community to maintain the trees? For instance, give them water. And the next person has a similar question. How will the plants and trees be watered?
There are different systems that could be used. We have not designed the project yet, but I could tell you different systems. One is the receiving waters that we're going to be capturing that will be utilized by the plants. The second one could be drip irrigation that can be used into the swales and the trees. And the project will be maintained by the contractor up between 6 months to a year. Once the contract is over, we'll be applying for funds to Measure W to maintain the project.
The last two comments in the Q&A are really just that comments. One of them says, great, thanks, Eve. The last comment is from a property owner who lives on Oro Vista and is a local resident. This resident says that they do not expect all native plants, but they would ask that we select plants that are best for this project, and thanks us for organizing this project. And with that, we are finished with our Q&A segment. So once again, if you do have a question that comes up or a comment that you would like to make about this project, you could submit your questions or comments via email to san.safecleanwater@lacity.org. Please place Oro Vista Avenue project in the subject line. And on behalf of the City of Los Angeles and LA Sanitation and Environment, we thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you taking the time to learn more about this important project. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, everyone.